Hello there! It's been a really long time since I've done anything like a wrap-up video, and I've never done favorites where I've talked about like other things, so I sort of wanted to start doing that again and maybe combine it with some other things, but right now the only thing I can think of to talk about in terms of a wrap-up is like books, movies, music, and TV shows. But that is okay. But man, am I ready for October. This past weekend I was in Dallas shooting Book Chat Show, which if you have not heard of, I will leave the link to that channel in the description. Oh my god, September obsession that is not books or movies or anything. This is a seltzer water. It's called Bay Bubbles? I don't really know. But I'm like legit subscribed to it, so it shows up at my door every month and I get a box of them and they're so good. It's like LaCroix, but not disgusting. Because it's like healthy carbonated water, but flavorful. Anyway, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read in September and talking about just like all of those things. So the first book I read, you guys already know about. It is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Actually, did I read this in September at all? No, I didn't. But this was a new release in September, and it's Adam Silvera, so it's a September obsession. This book is on the New York Times list, which I'm so proud of and happy about. If you haven't picked up an Adam Silvera novel yet, I don't want to talk about it too much because like, I feel like I talk about his books in all of my videos, but you must read this book. And the next book I read is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, and I'm glad I am making this video like now in early October because we just got the news that the film adaptation of this book, which is coming out next year, has been retitled to Love, Simon, which having just finished this book, I'm really happy about. Like, I get it, it's a really weird title, and Love, Simon is really sweet and will draw much more of an audience, and like it really fits with the story, and I could just like cry thinking about that. I really enjoyed this book. I think pretty soon I'm going to do a big review video where I review maybe like 4 or 5 books because I've read this one, Aristotle and Dante, now I'm reading Anything Could Happen by Will Walton. All of those are like LGBTQ books, so if I do a video where I'm talking about all of those, I think that would make sense. But needless to say, I adored this novel. I listened to half of it on audiobook, and it was good, but it was just driving me crazy because I wanted to rip through it. So literally, at the halfway point, I stopped listening to the audiobook. I just literally read the last 150 pages in a day, which I do not do. I think Becky Albertalli used to be, she's a clinical psychologist, so I could just like see her taking cues from like maybe gay clients that she had. I really felt like she got into the head of a gay teenager. And I also really appreciated the transparency in Simon's voice, living in Atlanta and talking about, you know, racial issues also, and just his friend group. It definitely felt like more than a gay novel, which I appreciated. And the next book I have to show you, didn't exactly expect to be actually reading this one, but I have been reading What Happened by Hillary Rodham Clinton. Usually I will like purchase a politician's book if I really support them, like I bought the Bernie Sanders book, but I don't actually like to read them because I can just feel the ghostwriter like trying to manipulate this relatable and intelligent and like leaderly voice, and you definitely get that in here, but it's also fascinating, and Hillary Clinton really spills the tea and gets pretty real. So I legit read 60 pages, which is a lot for a book like this. And then I just am sort of like skipping around and reading certain chapters, but it definitely has been like a fascinating journey reading this, and I think I will continue. But it's just sort of like a bedside table, like before I go to sleep kind of book where I will just like read a chapter. Those are all of the books I read this month. Honestly, there's only one book that I like started and finished this month, but that's okay, and that's honestly like good for me as of late because I actually do feel like I'm on like a reading system again. I've managed to watch some television, so I watched the entire first season on Hulu of This Is Us. I got like a strong recommendation to watch it. I just got Hulu and I saw it on there and I started it and then I watched the whole thing in like a few days. I could not take my eyes off of it. The writing was so good. It's really just like a story of a family, but just the way the timeline intercepts. Every episode is so sweet and brilliant, and the cast is incredible. Season 2 is starting now, but I'm not gonna get to watch it while it's on because that's not how life works. But I definitely can't wait to get back into it. All of the characters I'm so attached to, and like they piss me off, they're sweet, and they make me cry. It really is a great show. And I also just finished watching Season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't start watching Drag Race until earlier this year. I was completely out of the loop, but now I'm all in. I watched season 9 this year, like as it was on. And so I've seen season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and All Stars 2. And I can't seem to find season 4 on the internet anywhere. But my favorite queens like ever are Milk, Sasha Velour, and Alaska, and Katya. October and late September is like the month that all the TV shows come back. And the one that I did watch last week that came back is Will and Grace. My roommate actually had never seen Will and Grace before ever, so I've been watching it a little bit with her, like the older episodes. I used to watch that show all the time, and now there's new episodes. It's weird watching it and hearing them make references about today's life when I'm used to watching it like from 10 years ago where they're making like late 90s, early 2000s references that I feel disconnected from. So it's weird, and I guess we'll see how it goes. If you have thoughts about that or anything, comment below. I did watch 3 movies in September. First of all, I finally saw Get Out. I can't believe it took me so long to watch it. Holy shit, it was amazing. I mean, I had never really heard a negative review, so I had high hopes, and I truly did not know much about it going in. It was wild. I also went to see Ingrid Goes West with Aubrey Plaza. It was really weird, but there were just moments in it where it was so on point that it is so worth seeing. Like the first half is completely different from the last half. You gotta be prepared going in. It is crazy, and it's probably like 20 minutes too long. It will make you think, it will make you laugh. I like to see movies by myself, so I went by myself and I was laughing out loud. In September, I also went to see It with some friends. It was like the weekend after it came out, so everyone was already talking about it all week. I had never read it or like watched the series, so I didn't really have an attachment to it, and I didn't enjoy it that much. I thought the kids did an amazing job, and so did Bill Skarsgård, and it was shot beautifully and everything like that. But there was just like something about it that didn't feel cohesive, and I thought there would be way more Pennywise. I was like craving scenes with Pennywise and the kids, but it would just like pop up and run at the camera and leave. Like, I didn't passionately dislike it or anything, but I just like wasn't thinking about it the next day. Oh, and I guess I did see 4 movies, because I also watched A Streetcar Named Desire with Marlon Brando for the first time. And I definitely would have rather seen it as a play. The acting was fascinating, but again, it was really long. But still, I enjoyed it. I just ended this video, put everything away, and realized I didn't talk about any music like I said I was going to. Who let me do this sort of thing? Okay, this might be a little more August, September-ish, but it's what I've been listening to in September. First of all, Kesha's new album, Rainbow. Holy shit. I love that there's like 2 different categories of songs on there, and then Praying. There's like rock, pop songs, and then like the full-on country goodness. My favorites are Let 'Em Talk, Woman, Rainbow, Hunt You Down, Boogie Feet, Godzilla, and Spaceship, which is half the album, but like that's my favorite half. I've also been listening to Bleachers nonstop, which is Jack Antonoff's band. I love having the 2 albums. If you haven't listened to Bleachers at all, the production is fantastic, and so is the songwriting. I have a playlist that is like my ideal set list of songs from both albums combined, and they like tell a story together. So if you haven't listened to Gone Now by Bleachers, highly recommend. Lord's Melodrama album I listened to a lot when it came out in June, because I was in New York and I felt like it was the appropriate place to be listening to Melodrama, and it had just come out. But now, after I took like a tiny break of listening to it, came back, and all of the songs have like different meanings to me, which I love. The album is aging like fine wine already. I love it so much, and I've also just been like going back to her old album too and listening to like Ribs, and I just am really having like a Lord Jack Antonoff moment in my life right now. Miley Cyrus's new album just dropped, but that's kind of an October thing, so I'll save that. We should definitely listen to Thinkin' and She's Not Him. And I've also been listening to Foster the People's new album, Sacred Hearts Club. I didn't know they had a new album until someone told me. It's so different and awesome. And then random old but good song that I have been listening to a lot is I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2. Sometimes an old song just comes back into your life and it's like it's a new song, you know what I mean? Oh, and I also have to mention the Superfruit album, Future Friends. If you haven't listened to that, oh my god. Imaginary Parties is my favorite song. I know it's like the single and the first song, but it's my favorite. So those are my music obsessions for September. Back to the conclusion that I already filmed. This was a trial run, and we'll see if the wrap-up favorites thing works. I maybe shouldn't call it favorites, because I just talked about everything, whether I liked it or not. But I also don't want to call it a wrap-up. So what do I do? Thanks for watching this video. I hope you all had a great September. I'm here for October. I'm ready. I'm a pumpkin spice bitch. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I am Tiernan BE on Twitter and Instagram. Links to everything will be in the description. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. And